Honestly, we're going to try to get into as much as possible with what we have. So without further ado, please welcome your executive producer, star, and Cassian Andor himself, Diego Luna.
It's very special, I think. First of all, thank you so much for everything. Being here, spending your Saturday with us. It's nice to be at this place. When you do TV, I think you're gonna miss this, right? But I'm glad this is happening because the way we work on this show, it's pretty much the way we approach work in the films we've done. You know, none of us, and I'm talking about from Kathleen Kennedy, Tony, myself, many of the actors here, Helen, I mean, many of the designers and people working behind the camera. We do films, and we are starting to work in this new format, this long format of storytelling that series and TV are bringing. But it's kind of nice to give ourselves the opportunity to watch it with the community that cinema brings, and to watch it on the big screen. It's a reminder that we did right, we were paying attention of every step of the process, the way we do film. And this is a beautiful way to end, the process by watching it like we watch films. I love this place. It's special to be here at this cinema.
Yes,
I was a member here. Yeah. I don't spend that much time in Los Angeles, so I stopped paying. I was a member, and I used to come here and spend a lot of my time in this theater. So, yeah, it's so cool to be here.
It's American cinema, but maybe you could do the Mexican cinema, a screen series sometime.
We should definitely. I saw amazing films here, and like the projection is so wonderful. This is a beautiful gift, to have a cinema like this one.
I think it's kind of magical that you've had so much time with this character, but also the journey to get to this side where people are very invested in this show for a very good reason. What is it like? Were there days kind of on the ups and downs where you kind of never thought you would maybe finish it, or did you always have faith that you were going to get to the end? Because there were a lot of delays. We had COVID, we had the strikes.
Yes, it was never easy. It was never easy. The whole process was a challenge from the beginning. When we decided to do this show, and we were like very responsible, and we thought we could do 5 seasons. At the very beginning, we said, yeah, of course. The first one will take long, but then we'll get it right, and we'll manage to squeeze 5 seasons of this in our lives. It was like the first season took 2 years and a half of our time. Just making numbers, it was like, it's gonna be 15 years. It's gonna be 60 years old. The master. Quite pathetic way to get to that age. Pretending you're still 30. It was very interesting, a very interesting process, because yes, we were one of the first shows that went and shot while COVID was at its peak, So we spent a lot of time and energy just taking care of the crew and making sure it could happen. We were living in lockdown, but able to work. So in one hand, it felt amazing that we had the opportunity to keep doing what we loved under those circumstances, and while so many people were not being able to do what they loved. You know, we had that beautiful gift of actually going to work, but at the same time, everything about filming and shooting is collaborating. You know, it's about the exchange, and we were not allowed to live it that way. You know, it was complicated, but I remember we were allowed to go to Scotland to shoot Aldani in the first season, and Tony was there, and we were at this little hotel in Pitlochry, having scotch and talking about how impossible it was going to be to do 5 seasons. And he went like, let's find a way. Let's find a way. We were shooting in blocks. It was 4 blocks. We had 4 seasons to go, 4 years to cover. And he said, what if each block is a year? And he came up with this amazing idea of having these time jumps in this second season in order for us to deliver what we promised, which was getting to the end, you know, getting to the moment where they go to Rogue One. For us, and watching it now, like that scene with when Biggs is talking about the future, and you know what the future is, you know, we wanted to get there. We really wanted to cover that whole arc of these characters and let Cassian go to Rogue One the way we do
Yeah.
in the 12th episode.
How do you operate as an executive producer on this? Because you're very seasoned in making your own things as well. Can you talk a little bit about what you like doing as an executive producer? And I'm wondering if you wear different hats and you separate the two. Like, sometimes you're executive producer Diego, and sometimes you're just actor Diego, or how that works.
I've been always a very curious and how do you say metiche? Like, what?
Nosy.
Nosy actor. So it's easier to call me a producer.
It sounds better in this
No, it's just, I don't know, as an actor, I've always like, I always say what I think. I'm always there hoping, questioning things, make the process better for everyone and the result better and richer. But when actors get to set, most of the time it's too late, you know, to question things.
Sure.
Things are happening. You are there, and you have to execute. And things. So I love the idea of being able to raise my voice, question things, give my opinion when it's time, when something can actually come out of that. You know. From the moment I was invited, it was clear that I had to get involved as a producer. I received a call. I was 8 years ago, saying, would you consider, you know, just exploring the possibility of actually telling the story of Cassian before Rogue One? And I said yes, but it was a long process. There was many different approaches that we ended up like throwing away until we got to Tony Gilroy and he pitched his perspective. For me, the whole production, and it's a very complicated show, and we do these 4 blocks, which is basically shooting 4 films, you know, because each block is like an hour and 40 minutes, so it's four films. No, it's 2 hours. What did I say? It's 2 hours. So things start and they don't stop. So there's one producer that is Kathleen Kennedy that puts everything there, you know, for things to happen, that follows that first idea, that gets people together, and that then gives you the tools and the freedom in this case to execute and go out there and follow the lead of Tony, who's the next producer, the guy who writes everything, the vision we are all following. Yeah. Then you have Sana, who's the one that is in charge of putting together the whole machine and make sure it works, and that everything moves towards the same direction, you know. And then I found that my place as a producer was to be the eyes on set, you know. You're the one who's every day there, you know. You're the one that from set can spot things that no one sees from the top, or you know. And Tony, while we are shooting, Tony is either writing or in post-production or in pre-production of the next block, you know. So you are the one on set also that can translate what that voice is, you know, what that perspective that we are all supposed to follow is. You know, there's a lot of day players, there's directors come for just one block. So it's cool to understand that you're there to keep some kind of balance. At the end, I understand that producing is helping someone's vision to get as far as possible. You know? That's what a producer does, and it's not the same as an actor, you know. So a lot of times I had to like try to unplug and just concentrate in saying words like startup unit. Whatever.
You mentioned Tony.
5 years.
Tony, in my impression of watching him kind of talk about this, he seems kind of like the most joyfully reluctant Star Wars maker of Star Wars things, because he'll joke about how many meetings they had about the type of dog creature that appears in the show, and just sort of those kind of things where he'd rather be writing. Can you talk about like a favorite Tony-ism or something you kind of loved watching him do or work out? Because obviously it's worked, right? You know, took a while to get here, but.
Yes, he always finds a referent, you know, of our like, our context, you know, to explain everything. He always does. I'm not going to tell you any because I'll ruin the experience, you know. Yes, each of you now went through the same process. You know, that's the beauty of science fiction. You see something and you can't stop trying to find how that connects with your universe, your life, your context, the history of that you know. I think, yeah. Sorry, I went somewhere else. But I just think it was fascinating to see these episodes today. You know, they mean something different than the last time, like 4 months ago, that I saw them. When I read them 3 years ago or 2 years ago, they meant something else. You know, and that's the wonderful thing that happens with Tony Gilroy, because he really pays attention to everything. There is an answer for everything, and when there's all those layers, you know, that richness translates, and then you take it and you make it yours. I think Tony, you know, that one wonderful thing about Tony as a producer is that he understands collaboration like no one else. You know, there's so many ways to lead, and the one he chooses is, to me, the smartest and the richest. You know, for those who live the experience. I'll tell you, like Tony, before he even writes, he sits down with the production designer, and they start to talk about where things are going to happen and what triggers, you know, all the events, you know. So when we see Gorman, when we see that plaza, the amount of time they spend thinking how, like, the plaza was gonna be, and how all the action plays, and what can you see from this perspective and this other, what's the distance from here to here, therefore how much time would you have for something to happen while a character is running from here to there. Like, all of that is well thought, and he does it with someone else, you know, that then takes that design and shares it with a bigger team. And so when you get to the set, it feels like you all participated on the writing, you know, that your perspective is considered. The way he makes you feel part of his project, of his show, because this is his show, I would say the way you feel part of it, you feel that you are creating with him, is very special and unique. It's so special that everyone came back for the second season, you know, like all the team decided to be here for this second season because of that, because there's a belonging, a feeling of belonging that you normally don't have.
Yeah, so many ways he and you all make moments for everyone to shine too, even like small little bits of characters. I want you to just kind of drill down on 208 a little bit, because you and Kyle, I'm assuming Kyle is not like his character in real life.
He's
Kyle
the
plays-
same.
Kyle
I
plays-
have no idea. He never blinks. Never blinked in his life.
Kyle plays Zero.
What about that? Have you noticed? Long shots and he's like this and yeah.
How many days the fight sequence between the two of you were kind of, that seems like it probably took a while.
Again, same thing, collaboration. There's a guy called Mark Melly who's the stunt coordinator, a fantastic guy, a storyteller. I mean, he sits down and designs fights, not because this looks cool or because this. In fact, there's nothing cool about that fight. I mean, it's incredibly like and real. You know, you have a feeling that is actually the way you would respond to something like that. But I think we did like 4 choreographies or 3 at least before we got to this one. You know. And there was a whole process on like how is it gonna be? How trained is this character versus the other? You know, what is Cyril fighting for? For me, like I'm not gonna tell you the story, but one day I was attacked by a cat.
While filming or just in
No,
life?
I'm not. No, before. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. I remember telling in one of those sessions we had, we were in the second choreography, and I remember telling Mark, this reminds me of that, you know. I don't think like if these 2 guys would fight. I mean, one is a soldier, you know, and he has a lot of training at this point, you know. Cassian has a lot of training, so I was like, but it reminds me that day that the cat was attacking in my back. I couldn't get to him, and when I got to him and get rid of him, the cat came back. It kept coming back and like.
This is your producer at work. Like, bring the real life experience into the work.
And I remember Mark was like, yeah, we have to do that. I'm watching it right now, and you go like, yes, nothing's gonna stop that guy. And it doesn't matter how many times you hit him, it doesn't matter what happens. He's always gonna come back because there's something there, you know. And the line, the who are you? I mean, come on, that's Tony Gilroy. I remember, I mean, there was a lot of discussions about that line and should we do it with light, should we do it with it should be a look or not. Like, I remember going to set and receiving a phone call from Tony saying, you better do that line. Just do it right, you know? And it's such an important, it summarizes everything, you know? I mean, these guys like coming out of like a trance, like or something, you know, of a dream, you know. Suddenly he's realizing, shit, what I've been part of. And then this guy he's been following for how many episodes? 20. Just goes like, what are you guys? Maybe we're here like solving issues in a galaxy. And you're just like, get out of the way.
It's always title of episode.
That I don't remember. No, later. It was later. But I think it's. I mean, jokes aside, it is one of the things that I think makes this show special, which is like you get to see all those lives in both sides of this equation, you know, without judgment, of people that no one will remember their names, you know, and that are indispensable for something to happen, for change to come, or you know, and Cyril is I mean it's quite a compliment to the writing of Tony that you end up like feeling so much for him, you know. He's like, oh shit, it's another victim of this this horrendous, authoritarian
Yeah. When you
expression.
finish those fight days, is it just like go take a?
It was 3 days of shooting. It was 3 days of shooting, like hours of physiotherapy, like there on set. Also, we shoot in England, and cold, freezing. And they managed to, every time we're on set, it's January. I don't know how. Because April is beautiful. No, it's always, and it's always around 6 a.m. that you are meant to be rehearsing, you know. And the other beautiful thing about Mark Melly is that he gives you the tools to do it yourself, you know. I mean, there's obviously stunts, and I work with Martin, who's like the man. I mean, he's amazing, and I worked with him for the 2 seasons. He does everything for Cassian and many other characters. But the idea of this fight, at least, is that we managed to get to the end, you know, ourselves. There was a few shots that obviously it's not us, and mostly falling is something very difficult to do. Well, it's very easy, but it's very easy to learn. But the thing is, yeah, the idea was to try to get there ourselves, you know. So we worked really, really hard, and a lot of bruises, but Kyle is just such a wonderful, you know, partner, and it was fun, and we were so proud at the end of what we managed to do, you know.
That's great.
Yeah.
Sounds very nice.
No, I didn't say that. Because I think there was like, I do my own stunts. That's not true. Like the actual, the very dangerous stuff. There's an specialist, and he's amazing. Again, I don't want anyone to get it wrong. Without Martin, these 2 seasons would have been a lot more of Cassian talking than.
You're proud of what you've got to do.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
I want to quickly touch on 209 because again, we don't have a ton of time because you guys are maybe gonna watch another piece of wonderful Mr.
Oh, you're gonna see me.
Yes, we're gonna get that. Working with Genevieve O'Reilly. You guys, you do. I mean,
Yeah.
talk a little bit about kind of.
Finally,
Yeah.
finally, we get to interact together.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it comes from Rogue One, you know. We know each other for a long time, and we waited long for this episode 9 to happen and to get to play together. And it's a one. I think these 2 episodes are wonderful because they basically show why I think this show is different and special and unique, and to me it's when you understand how like the social climate and the political climate have to, you know, interact in a way for a rebellion like this one to erupt, and I think that speech she does and that whole sequence is so powerful, and we did it by pieces, you know, because we shot in in Valencia at this gigantic, huge building of Calatravas that is in Valencia, an arts center, and but she had to shoot the speech by herself, you know, because that's the only part is not like mechanical or a set. Like most of the series, it's sets that we build, you know, and we shot like old-fashioned, like not much was like computer generated. Basically, you are interacting with things, and you are in the place, and and it's not just the props, but the sets and the costumes and everything's there for you to react to the droids, the creatures, you know, like it's amazing. It's so much fun. Yeah. But anyway, that whole scene was very, very special because they say very little and a lot is happening, and it is the actual beginning and the awakening of both of them, you know. It was special.
Yeah. Is there something that surprises you? Because are in a lot of the show, right? You're in a lot of these scenes, but some scenes you aren't in.
Oh, yeah.
When you see the finished product, is there something that is a really pleasant surprise? Obviously, some of the effects get finished, but is there a certain scene stealer or one of your fellow cast members that sort of dazzled you when you saw the finished show?
I mean, I keep saying this and I am gonna repeat it. I think Andor is an excuse, to actually get to meet a community, and it's as an ensemble piece as it can be. It's so rich, and every character has a moment and has the opportunity to show you intimate moments and every layer. This long format allows us to actually explore characters like Rogue One couldn't. For me, Rogue One is a
We have the
Since
5-minute warning, so they're gonna get at the heavy.
No, I think they listen to this many times. It's my family saying, oh, fuck, he's gonna go. Yeah, thinking about the long format. But it's true, I mean, on a way, I remember talking to many people saying damn, I care so much about those characters. Who are they? After Rogue One. And Rogue One is a film about an event, but you don't get to go deep on who they are and why are they risking and sacrificing everything for the cause. What's behind that sacrifice, And this show shows you that and more, because it has that patience of actually telling you not just who Cyril is, who his mom is, and what it could be to have mom at home, and you have that with every character. You get to meet Biggs profoundly, you get to meet Mon Mothma profoundly, you get to so as an actor watching the full episode, it's a wonderful reminder of what you're part of, I say there is not a single actor here that didn't got the best out of what the material brought, And that's what happens when you have great material in front. Suddenly, the best acting comes out of you. There's, and there is a team, It's us doing something in community. We're all inspired by what others are doing. I don't know. I think I'm so not just proud. I feel so fortunate that I was able to be part of this show because of what I witnessed. The process of many actors, the process of many designers, the process of Tony Gilroy, and the process of also of audiences.
Because each week you got to see people. Well, you got to see in bulk. You got to see people react.
Yeah, and you have now the tools to listen and to hear what people have to say about the show, and realizing that you guys were celebrating the show basically for the same reasons I decided to do it. That we are all here for the same reasons. That is something very special. It doesn't happen often. And I talked to we were in London, I remember, and I was standing before going out into an event like this with a few members of the cast, and I was next to Kathleen, and I said, Kathy, I probably act, or I probably do cinema, because now I act for other reasons, but I do cinema for people like Stellan, because I could witness what he was capable of, myself as audience and him as an actor. And here I am, but, not just working with him, but working in something that gives me the opportunity to actually play with him at an horizontal level, Everyone, the guy at the hotel, he's just there for that, but he's so rich, and that the moments he's on screen, they're so rich. Everyone has that opportunity, and the generosity of the writing of Tony Gilroy is exactly that, No one's there just to trigger something.
Yeah.
There is a reason for you to be there, and there's something your character delivers, and that enriches the whole story, the whole journey.
Yeah. I think we can all agree there's something very special about Andor, yes? We're running out of time, but I'm also very aware you're about to see another really lovely performance. I feel like
Lovely? Lovely is the word. I haven't seen it in a long time, probably changed through the years.
At the start, in the beginning, he's like the most fun guy you would ever want to meet.
I don't want to ruin it because I don't know if they've seen it or not.
Okay, we're going to talk about milk for just a hot second because it's very special. Who hasn't seen it? It's going to say. Oh, see, yay.
A lot of people.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's cool.
Just briefly kind of, we can introduce it as we kind of leave, just so people know about that experience for you. Because again, this is a really fun character. He's like the most funny person you'd want to have around. To start.
Oh my god, I really want to. I don't know if I want to go to your parties. No. I mean, I love. I learned to love Jack profoundly. I haven't seen the film in ages, and when they said like, what would you think it's important and it would be cool to screen, and this came to my mind, because it's I said like it.
Because where were you in your career when you took this?
No, I'm just looking for the word. I know what I want to say, but it's the English. It's so complicated. No, well, yes, en español lo voy a decir, pero no, muchas gracias. No, what I was going to say is that somehow it connects beautifully with Andor, It's about community. It's about raising your voice. This is about the world we live in. This is a beautiful reminder of how important it is to understand the richness that diversity brings, the importance of respect, the importance of understanding, empathy. It's a beautiful reminder today. And it's about politics, and not about politics in a galaxy far, far away. It's about politics in this state, and I think it's time to the way you want, but it is time to get involved. And this is
I hope you all stick around for milk. I'm so happy you stayed and came